Alright, today we get this one in. This is a Trailblazer looking cluster. Fancy looking one. I don't think it's actually Trailblazer. I'm pretty sure it's like an offshoot of a Trailblazer knockoff of some kind. Anyway, I didn't get exactly what it is, but it's going to operate just like a Trailblazer, so I'm going to treat it like it's one. Plug it up. And we've got a good reset on the needles, but a little dim on the display here. Looks to me like everything reset like it was supposed to. It's a little noisy, so I suspect we're going to have stepper motor trouble as usual from all the 03 to 06 GM issues. The lens comes off just like all the others with little tabs. Back will come off by prying up the little tabs. Gonna have a tab on each end as well. And the back is off. I generally roll these around a little bit and see what I can feel, and it really doesn't feel like we've got any issues here with the stepper motors. They feel pretty free. They all sweep appropriately, so let's get it a little further apart and see what's what. Go ahead and mark my... If you take the back off of these things, they move around a lot just based on the play that you have there. So marking the needles, you got to make sure your board is centered before you start marking your needles. Put a little pencil mark that I cannot see. So come up here a little bit. Pencil mark wouldn't show up on that silver, so just move out to the black. Break them a little bit free against the stops. Pop the needles off. Do about 3 to 4 GM clusters like this a day. Yeah, it gets old. The lighting's good. Looks like it's got the yellow lighting, so possibly it's been rebuilt already. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's had the stepper motors changed. X25, so we'll go ahead and change them out. And the display issue. That actually looks pretty decent with the lens on, with the faceplate off. Get it to brighten up any. Not so much. A lot of times with these you can press around on stuff and affect change if you've got like loose broken solder joints or whatever. This I don't see a problem with this cluster, so let me get on the phone with this guy and see what it is he's expecting, because everything looks functional at this point. Okay, I want to touch base with y'all on this. So I've got a plug harness here that is wired up to an OBD port. So when you wire your harness up, if you care to wire a harness up, you can check your gauges this way, or if you have it in the car, you can just hook up to your OBD port and you can check the gauges this way. We're going to try to check the sweep on these gauges. He says the temperature gauge is not reading. The temperature gauge is this lower one here. I'll stick a needle back on all of them just to verify all of them. So basically I've got my Autel scanner hooked up on the bench to this, and I'm just going to go through the Autel. When you got it hooked up like this, you got to do it manually. So you're going to find Chevrolet, GM, let's see this as we go through it here. So we're going to do manual selection, select a 03 to 06, doesn't really matter the year with these. Light duty, Chevrolet, Trailblazer. S or T, I have no idea. I'll go with S. Doesn't matter, we're not talking to the HVAC, so not talking to the ABS module, so it doesn't matter if it's got traction control or not. We'll see if it finds our cluster. So we want to go hot functions, and well, no, we don't. Escape. Diagnosis and control unit. That's what we want. All right. I'm trying to do this upside down, so bear with me. You'll see the speedometer on there. Instrument panel, there we go. Active tests and IPC gauges. And what we want to do now is command these things on. And it looks like they all sweep. And that's about the range that the gauges should move in, so. It gives you other options in here too. You can turn on individual lamps, etc. Check your Prindle. What else we got? We've got a lamp test here, which all my lamps are wired on anyway, so that not going to do any good. I turned on a few more. I turned on the LEDs as well. See that or not? What else can we do? You can check your odometer display. That lights up all the pixels so you can see if you have any dead pixels. It just lights them up in solid blocks so you can oh. There you go. It lights it up solid blocks so you can see if you have any dead pixels. What else we got? Prindle display. Turn that on. It lights up all your Prindle LEDs. Make sure they're all good. So it's useful in diagnosing. Of course, this thing is a couple grand. But if you have any bidirectional scanner, it should be able to do this stuff. And you know, that'll help you diagnose what's wrong with your cluster. Because you can command it on from here. If it comes on here, it should be coming on in your car appropriately. Unless your car is failing to command it, and then you have like a BCM or ECM issue. Anyhow, getting back to this, it swept fine. All the lights are working. I don't see any reason to charge this guy any money, so that's how we roll here. I don't want to gouge people for making no change in the car. He says his temperature gauge is not reading accurately, which I believe him, you know, but that could also be a sending unit. And if I felt like this gauge was an issue, I would tell him, and I've told him these all go bad eventually, and eventually this one will go bad probably. However, it's not bad at this point, so we're not going to charge him. We're just going to send it back to him and let him find the real problem with his temperature sending unit or the wiring back and forth. Anyway, that's what you get when you send it to us. We're honest and upfront about things and not going to gouge you for money that we don't need to. Appreciate you watching. Yeah, I thought you might appreciate being able to see this thing go back together as well. While you're here. So we're going to put it back together. Snap it back in place. Just kind of the reverse process of all this stuff. You rotate your needles around against the stops until you get to your marks. Power it up and check the placement with it powered on. That all looks right. Place your lens back. Get a little cleaning juice. Try not to send anything back to anybody dirty. Although they don't mind bringing it in dirty. Seen some doozies. Alright. She's back together. Yeah, again, if you charge a customer, especially this guy's a mechanic shop, and you know, they're going to get it back and they're going to have the same problem, and that doesn't bode well for your business because nothing got solved. There was no accomplishment with taking the cluster to me, and that doesn't, I just don't believe that looks well on me. So we'll put this thing back to him the way it was and tell him we've tested it and it all tests appropriately, and he needs to find the real problem in the vehicle, which is probably going to be a sending unit or wiring or something along those lines. And I have done this in the past, and they call me and they tell me, well, I just put a new fuel pump in it and the gas gauge still doesn't work. I can't tell you how many parts we get from the parts store that don't work. So unless you're going to a Napa or going with an OEM or something like that, you know, you really have to be skeptical of the parts you're getting. If it's a gas tank, man, I would test that thing before I put that whole gas tank back together. That's a job, dropping a gas tank. So it's just, I just think it's good business not to, you know, we could tell him, hey, look, you know, all these things go bad, and this one's eventually going to go bad, so we're just going to rebuild it while it's here and apart. And maybe there's some merit in that, but I always give the customer the option. And in my estimation on this is going to last quite a while before it does go bad. So I don't think it's time to do it yet. So, and he agreed, so we're just going to send it back to him, and no harm, no foul. Normally, this guy's in Austin, and we would incur shipping penalties on that, but he actually lives right down the road from me, and I just met him up in New Braunfels, and we picked this thing up, and I'll take it back to him in New Braunfels when I go home. So this one truly is no harm, no foul. And if you're in San Antonio, you want to come by, you want me to test your cluster out, I don't charge for that. So just come on and we'll get it done. Anyway, appreciate your time. So we reached the end of another repair video. Hopefully you found it informative, gained some confidence in us being able to repair something, and maybe some confidence in yourself being able to repair it. So if you got any questions, you can call us anytime. We're here Monday through Friday from 10 to 5. Disappear on the weekends for a little rest and relaxation, of course. Anyway, email, comment down below, however you want to do it. Like and subscribe if it helps you out. It might help out you. Share it and see if it might help out your friends. So hit the notification bell if you want to see more or see the next videos that are coming up. I plan on doing a little more. We're learning a little more every day, like how to flip the screen and get it straightforward instead of looking like I was doing it in a mirror. That was interesting. Anyhow, most of our repairs, if you ship them to us, are repaired and shipped back usually the same day. If not, I get them out in the mail the next morning. So holler at me if you need some help. That's what I'm here for. Thanks a lot.